here we are out in the beautiful Minnesota River Valley, and we're going to try to find the ingredients for a wild salad. We're going to look for water leaf,
Some
leek, maybe some dandelion, maybe some leek tubers, little wild spring onion bulbs, some toothwort tubers. See what we can find. Alright, here we have some leek. See how that has 3 leaves on it? Those are the only leeks I pick leaves from, because it really doesn't hurt the plant to take one of the leaves. See how that middle one is nice and fresh? And the other ones have a little curl on them, they're a little older. So what I'll do is I'll just pinch this off like that. And there's a leek leaf for my salad, for our salad. Alright, here we have a nice patch of leeks, and this can actually stand to be thinned out. I'm not going to really do a lot of damage in this area, so I'm actually going to take the whole plant this time. So, see how moist this soil is? I'm going to get down in there until I get underneath the bulb. Goes pretty deep. See that? I have to get the jackknife out. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to get my jackknife out. I'm going to get underneath the bulb. Try not to cut the bulb itself. Get underneath it and cut the rhizomes. I don't know if you can hear that. Okay, so there's the rhizome, or the bulb, and I cut the rhizomes free. Now, should be able to free the bulb. There we go. See that? Now we have the whole plant. Nice white onion. These are like, they taste a lot like spring onions, but they have almost like a garlicky quality. They're a bit more pungent. Alright, so here we have toothwort. This is related to mustard, I think. But what we really want it for is the tubers are kind of like a little nose twister, sort of like horseradish. It's not nearly as strong, but you got it underneath here. See this? These little tubers like that. That's what we're looking for. But here's a old one. You can see it's kind of been eaten a little bit by bugs. If we dig underneath here, here's another one. And these yellow ones, see how they're kind of yellow? These are going to be pretty woody and stringy and not as good. So what we want is we want some really fresh, white, crisp tubers. So let's dig in here a little bit. Shouldn't have too hard of a time. Here's one. That's going to add some crunch to your salad. Nice little pungency too, if you like horseradish. If you don't like horseradish at all, then you're not going to be interested in harvesting this. If you are kind of okay with horseradish but don't prefer it, you might want to give these a try because they're a lot milder and don't nearly have as much of a bite, I guess, that would make your sinuses open up. But let's we'll gather, I don't know, a small handful of these. Again, this is a yellowish one. It's probably a year old, been in the ground for a year. This is going to be woody and stringy. Over here, this is what you want. You want these nice crisp white ones that just grew out, or just grew underground, I should say. There we go. That should be enough. Give a little crunch and pungency to my salad. Just for me. The wife doesn't like horseradish, so. Alright, here we got some Spring Beauty. I'm not finding a lot of this year, so I'm actually going to leave it alone because it is kind of a fragile, really pretty. Look at how beautiful those flowers are. Little pinkish white flowers. Just gorgeous. And the whole plant is edible and really delicious. Right down to the little tuber. There's a little tuber underneath the ground. It's like a little potato, except it's not starchy. It's sweet and nutty. And it adds a really nice flavor to a wild salad. But like I said, I'm not finding a lot of it. If I come across a really thick patch, then maybe I will. But right now, I'm just gonna leave it alone. And if I haven't said this already, we're on private land, and that's why we're doing this harvesting. You can't do this in a state park or a county park or any park really. In fact, you don't just leave wildflowers alone for other people to enjoy, unless you're on private land, unless you're somewhere where you know no one's gonna see them. Just leave them alone. Let other people enjoy them. Only if you're on private land and have permission to harvest would you want to take this stuff and add it to your bowl. Here we got some Trillium. This is something you definitely don't want to pick unless you're on private land and have permission. In a lot of states, certain Trilliums, especially like the can't think of the name of it. Anyway, a lot of the Trilliums are protected. They are edible. I'm going to leave this one alone because it's one of very few this year. But if you did want to pick and had permission to, just take one leaf and leave the other two so you don't hurt the plant, so it comes back and it just stays healthy, you know. I think it's a perennial. Okay, finally we found some nice water leaf. Been seeing it quite a bit out here, but this is the first patch I feel comfortable picking from. Now it's called water leaf because you see the white spots on the leaves. I guess that's why they call it water leaf. I guess somebody thought it looked like there was water on the leaf. But here we got some. This is a really nice fresh leaf, nice and glossy. They are a little fuzzy, but I find that once you get salad dressing on them, you know, and all the other salad components all combined with it, you don't really notice the fuzz. But I'm going to take this leaf. So it'll be good in the bag and in the bowl. Look at all this water leaf. And you know, I actually prefer water leaf as a canned green. It's probably my second favorite. Canned green behind wood nettle. Here's a really nice leaf I'm going to take. Good in the bowl, good in the mouth, good in the tummy. It really is a very distinct looking plant. There is a wild geranium that we have out here that superficially resembles it, and it is poisonous. But as long as you see these water spots, I guess you call them, those little light spots like that, then you know you're good to go. It's Virginia waterleaf. Let's add some beautiful violet flowers to the bowl. I don't mean to beat a dead horse here, but only do this if you're on private land and have permission. Leave the flowers alone, let others enjoy. But I am going to eat these beautiful things. They're not really particularly flavorful. You know, the back ends have a little sweetness because of the nectar. But I think they are pretty healthy for you. I think I read that they are quite high in vitamin C, actually. So a nice little addition to the bowl. And they got a good texture, too. Notice that I'm not taking the spotty leaves, you know, the unhealthy looking leaves that look like they might have a little blight or bug damage. Just taking the nice ones, just like you would in the grocery store and produce section when you're looking for salad material. Okay, here's an example of what I was talking about. There's water leaf. See the white spots? And right here, alongside it, if you're not paying attention, you might want to pick some. You might be picking some of this. And this is some kind of a wild geranium of some kind, and this is poisonous, I'm pretty sure. So be careful. Know what you're looking at. Look side by side. You can tell that they're different plants, but to the untrained eye, you know, foraging is something you want to be very careful with. Teach yourself just about everything you can before you even attempt to pick something and put it in your mouth. Water leaf. This is water leaf. This is not. Young chickweed, newly emerged, succulent, pristine, no blight, no bug spots. Tastes like pea pods. I know I say that about just about every green I pick, but to me it does. And who doesn't like pea pods flavor, right? Ow. Nettle. Stings. This patch is so healthy I can't hurt it by picking these tops off. They'll just grow right back within a week. More water leaf. More chickweed. Probably have enough already though. Maybe I'll get a little handful of it. Alright, so here we are with goodies from the woods that we're gonna use to make a little wild salad. We got, in case you need your memory refreshed, a chickweed, water leaf, some violet blossoms, some leek leaves, and here's our, we only got 2 of these. I didn't find a big enough patch of these to dig up from, except for just one area. We got our leeks, whole leeks here. So give them a little bit of a rinse. I got some grit on. You always get grit on stuff you pick out in the woods. I always say that a little bit of dirt never hurt anybody. And it lets you know that what you're eating is good and fresh and from the wild. That should be good enough. Just, you don't want, a mouthful of dirt every bite. So. And we'll clean up our onions. Dirt off of the leek. Good enough. Rinse any potential bug or deer pee off of the plants. We'll take the rhizomes off. Get it nice and clean. And this part here is a little fibrous, this little red part of the leaf. So I'm going to cut it off right about there. Kind of like when you cut up asparagus. You feel with your knife, don't press very hard until it goes through like butter. That's where you want to cut off. And then here, see? That part we'll get rid of. I'll throw that in a container in the freezer. I always save ends and potato skins and whatnot, and then I make stock later, so I'll use that for flavoring that. The end of this off. Get a feel for where it's tender. There. And do it again. That one's a little tougher for some reason. Yeah. There we go. I think that's all good and clean enough. Set these aside. A little bit of dirt there. Alright. Now, get the salad spinner out. Get rid of any excess moisture. There's more there than you think there is. You look in the bag and you're like, man, I don't have very much, but really, you get it home, you don't need a whole lot of greens to fill a little salad bowl. It's just an appetizer basically anyway. Give it a spin. That video is not going to make you seasick. There. Alright, here's our toothwort tubers. Remember those? I'll clean those up. Here's what I like to do. I just kind of swish them around on the mesh of the colander. That gets them pretty clean. It's the best way to clean them. You could sit there with a freaking little paring knife or potato peeler and mess around with them that way. But this is the easiest way to do it. Gets them clean enough. Are you going to get rid of all the grit? No. But, like I said, a little dirt never hurt anyone. That should be fairly good enough. And I'll just take and clean up any really offensive bits. I just set these aside because I don't want to get any of them in my wife's salad, she won't like that. I'll trim this off a little bit. You can chop them up too if you want, but I kind of like to have a big crunchy piece in my salad. Look how nice and white and clean that is. Little tiny wild horseradish, basically. There's that green. I think the whole plant is edible on toothwort. I've tasted the leaves, and they taste very much like mustard greens. And I've even put them in the, a little bit of the leaves in the salad itself, and I've never had a stomach ache or anything. So I don't know. If you want to experiment with that, I don't see that it would be unsafe. Little pile of tubers there that I can have in my salad. I'll chop these leeks up a little bit. I'm not an expert with a knife in the kitchen, really, but I do well enough to get the job done. It doesn't look like much, but that'll add a lot of flavor to that bowl. Alright, so here we got the greens in the spinner, and I'll just tear them up a little bit. Not really anything too fancy. But just so you don't need like giant leaves on your fork. Tear them up. And heaven forbid, I hate to admit this, but I've actually cut my greens that I put in my salad. I've heard this it's like a sacrilege to cut. You're not supposed to cut. You're supposed to tear. Not sure why. I'm not sure they're why. I'm not sure they know why either, whoever they are. Who are they and why should we listen to them? Look at that. There we go. Alright, now I'm in the bowl. It's kind of surprising how full these bowls are, isn't it? You don't need to go out all frickin' day and spend hours and hours. I think me and the wife went out for, I don't even know if we were out there for 3 hours. I don't think we were. Like Brad for Angier said, free for the eating. Okay. Now let's do the even just 3. I am kind of particular about making it even. 3, 3, 2, 2, 3. And then I got my tubers here. Toothwort. Black pepper. Oh my gosh, it's not freshly ground. I'm breaking another one of I won't say any names, laws of these master chefs. Some raisins. I like to have raisins on a wild salad. You could use any dried fruit you want. Raisins are cheaper. For that matter, so is ground black pepper than fresh. And some cheese. Shredded cheese. I'm not really about presentation, in case you haven't noticed. I just like stuff that tastes good. I'll top it off with some blue cheese dressing. Can you tell my wife and I like cheese? There you go. A couple bowlfuls of wild spring salad. Num num.